This is the reality show on Calabash TV.
We want to welcome to our studios here at Calabash TV Allison Jean, who's a friend of Calabash TV, and of course we have known each other for a very long time. It's certainly very good to see you here. It's a very difficult interview for me. We were saying off air before we got started, because I was wondering how do we have a conversation, but I know you very well, and so I was thinking we can have a conversation as people who've known each other for a very long time. And we were saying just before we started, September is the birth month as well of Botham Jean, but it's in this case a month that you will never forget.
Breaking headline out of Dallas at this hour. A
Police chief there calls this a very unique case
involving an off-duty officer who shot and killed her neighbor in his own apartment.
And a week after he was killed, they still don't know why.
We're still lost as to what happened.
1 week after losing their son Botham, Allison and Bertram Jean still aren't satisfied with the details surrounding his death.
I still don't have a conclusive what happened.
Is that just keeping you up at night?
That's the pain. That's what causes the pain.
Everyone needs forgiveness, the kindness of the Savior.
28 years ago, September.
Botham was born into an environment where it took a community to raise a child. So Botham was surrounded by his extended family, his grandmother, his grandfather, his aunts, uncles, people in the community of Entrepot, Bocage, where we lived, and everybody looked out for him. He was an active child, so everybody knew him. He was like the baby of the family because all of my cousins were much bigger than him. So everybody, they kind of poured love over him, looked out for him. So his uncles would pick him up at school and spoil him, make sure that he used to demand certain things that, you know, the regular children wouldn't ask for. He would ask for a malt. So every afternoon after school, his uncle would have to give him a malt. Then he liked milky drinks, so he wanted milkshakes, supplicant, he wanted yogurt. So he got everything that he needed because everybody in the family just showered him with love. And he grew up to be a child who himself gave love. So he was very affable. He was, you know, everybody was just all over him.
Well, I can understand because I know his grandmother.
That's right.
And she is the nicest person you'd ever meet. I mean, I knew her from the time when I worked at the radio station a very long time ago, calling her for news backgrounds and news stories and so on. Ever accommodating and ever so nice. And she was actually my marriage officer. Oh, okay. Yes, so we have a very special connection with his grandmother as well. So I can understand. Was he sportive? Was he involved in I know there's a lot of basketball that was happening at Entrepot at the time.
Yes, he played a lot of sports. He played cricket. He played cricket while he was at Carmen Rennie Memorial School. He played basketball. He wasn't too much into soccer, into football, but it was mainly cricket and basketball. But unfortunately, when he went to St. Mary's College, he was told that he could not join the cricket team until he was in Form 3. So his interest in cricket kind of waned. And you would realize that his name is Botham.
Of course.
Because his father was an avid cricket lover and felt that, you know, his son had to be named after a cricketer, well-known cricketer. So I remember for Botham's first birthday, I bought him a cricket set. A little play cricket set with the stumps, the ball, the bat. So from very early, he had cricket gear. He had his pads, he had his shoes, he had his whites. We pushed him into cricket. But after he got to Form 3 in St. Mary's College, he continued into basketball. And then he became a sports administrator. So he became his captain, the captain of his house. He became young leaders. He got into all sorts of leadership positions, but did not play the game anymore. When he went to Harding University, he joined the rugby team. And because he could not get into the he wanted to do American football, but he couldn't get into the football team, so he joined the rugby team, and he still continued playing.
I'm curious, for 3 years he couldn't play cricket?
I don't know why there was this policy or system at St. Mary's at the time, but they said it was not, the juniors could not have joined the cricket team. So it kind of...
Yeah, that's stifling talent.
Yes, it put a damper on him. So he got out of cricket, but he maintained both basketball and then afterwards rugby.
Let the Spirit of the Lord and let it ride. You gotta let the Spirit of the Lord and let it ride.
The singing, how early was that?
As early as I can forget. Botham, while he was at St. Mary's College, he was very close to someone who he called Auntie Debbie. That was Deborah Bushell. And she led the St. Mary's College choir. And he went all over the place singing. He used to go to his choir practice. And then he also joined, I think he became part of the national choir. So he also did song leading in my church. That was at the Lance Road Church of Christ. And he just developed on his own that passion for singing. So he would sit and record himself singing in different parts. So he would sing an entire song that had all the different parts: alto, soprano, tenor, and bass. I don't know how he did it, but when he put everything together, it sounded as if he had an orchestra. So he's always been into that. So I would say maybe from the age of about 12, Botham just stuck to singing, and he just enjoyed singing. He would do it privately. He would do it in public. And that's another thing with him. He was never shy. Botham would walk into a room, he doesn't know you, and he would just start, hey, what the man say? Yo, you know, he was this gwazafe kind of person, but still very serious in what he did.
Savior, he can move the mountains. My God is mighty to save. He is mighty to save.
Well, if Deborah Bushell was his choir leader, he would certainly master all the parts for sure, because he's very detailed when it comes to
That's right.
choirs and so on. And so, but did he have an interest in becoming a recording artist, or was he just doing this maybe at the church level and he was comfortable with that, or he had any intentions of?
I don't think he had any intentions. He composed some songs.
Oh, he did?
Yes, we found 4 songs that he composed. Actually, Deborah Bushell was the one who brought that to my attention. I didn't even know he was sitting in my house and composing these songs, writing his music and everything. But he never indicated an interest in going forward with it. He just enjoyed doing it. He enjoyed doing it at church. At Harding University, he became part of a group called Good News Singers, and they went all over the US singing. He had this powerful voice. So he sang in chapel. The school that he went to at Harding, every day, every morning they have chapel, I think for half an hour. And he led chapel. He was just into everything, but he never indicated an interest in recording.
The songs, the 4 songs that he composed, can you share with us the themes, or is it?
But it's so surprising that all 4 songs that he composed speak of heaven, going to heaven. There's a song about I want to go to heaven. And when I read the words of all of the songs, I don't know, that there was a message coming out of it that Botham was not here for long. Everything about what he did and what he wrote spoke of going to meet his God. And there's one part of the song that even said that he didn't want to stay in this world, to get too hooked onto the world, and he wants to go. It is amazing that discovering these songs after his death really said what he had in mind. And perhaps, you know, I'm using these words as some consolation that perhaps while I wanted him here, he himself had other intentions.
Are there any plans for the songs? I mean, that Deborah is a musician, she's a composer.
Yeah.
We know Boo is working on the song as well.
Yeah. One of the songs was sung by the St. Mary's College Choir at the launch of the foundation in March here. I have them. I have not done anything yet with them, but perhaps later on. I think from what Deborah said, they may need to be tweaked.
Of course,
some of the notes would need to be changed. So we may look at it.
Yeah, it's an idea, and then you build on it.
We'll build on it.
Once he has the foundation and so on.
Yeah.
So, from what you're saying, he loved church, he loved. So, I don't know. I know you, and I know your husband and the family, but I don't know how. If you're extremely religious, I know you go to the church Sanssouci.
Well, we go to the Grosile. We used to go to Lance Road Church of Christ, but now we're at Grosile.
Okay.
So again, when Botham went to Harding University, which is a Christian college, it's connected with the church. And again, on hindsight, I'm seeing the passion that he had for Christianity, for church. He pursued it, because when he had to go to university, Botham left A level, and I said to him, so apply to UE. He said, okay, mommy, but can I apply to Harding as well? I said, yeah, but Harding is expensive, so, you know, I don't know if I can afford Harding. So he said that he applied. I kept asking him over and over, yes, mommy, I applied. But when the time came and some of his friends got acceptance letters and he didn't, I got worried, so I called the school. And they told me there's no application from Botham. So I said, but Botham, you said you had applied. Then he bent his head and he said, well, mommy, I don't really want to go to UE. It would be better if I go to Harding. And he gave me all the reasons to justify going to Harding rather than going to UE. So I went to Harding with him. We went to look at the campus and everything. And from the time he got there, you'd swear he was already admitted. Because he was all over the campus. He left me. I'm going this place, I'm going that place. I said, Botham, I don't know the place. Why? But he was. So when I saw how passionate he was about that university, I decided, Lord, you will help me, but I have to. So he went to Harding, and while he was there, he got involved in the church in Harding as well. And not only the church in Harding, but churches all over Arkansas. Every Sunday when Botham calls, I have to ask, where did you worship today? Oh, I was in Tennessee, I was in Alabama, I was here, I was there. And he was just all over the place. He just had this very strong passion for church. He was very, very religious.
Well, you said I live in paradise. Well, he's taking care of the cost. Hallelujah. I'm saved like the criminal on the cross.
So when we started worshiping at Grosile, he was at Harding, and he encouraged, the first year that he went there, he encouraged a team of students to come to St. Lucia to see his country, and he had his plan for them. So about a group of 12 with 2 adults, they came and they visited the Boys Training Center, the transit home. They visited some elderly people in Grosile. They had a summer camp for kids at the Grosile school. They went to the Marion home, the Comfort Bay. And I kept asking, you know, why are you doing that? And he said, Mommy, do you know Matthew chapter 25? It says, When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. And he said, that's what we should be doing. That's what our life should be. We need to reach out to people. Mommy, there are people who need just a little attention. The boys at the boys' training school. Mommy, all they need is just somebody who cares. And if I had listened to Botham, I would have adopted so many of these children, because he wanted me to adopt children. I said, but the kind of work that I do, I'm always overseas and everything. I don't have time to take on another child. So that's the kind of thing he wanted, to reach out to families, especially persons who were indigent, the poor. He would give his money. He started working at Harris Paints, and when the team came, he just used to pay for transportation, pay everything. He used to use all his money. Yes, so I let him be, because that was him. He was very, very headstrong about what he wanted. But I didn't have much, I didn't have to intervene too much, because he wasn't doing the wrong things. You know, I didn't have problems wondering that he was too late at a party or something like that. He was an obedient child, and he was more interested in going out and do benevolent work and, you know, helping other people. So I really didn't have much of a problem with him.
Forever, author of salvation, he rose and conquered the grave. Jesus conquered the grave.
In terms of his education, what areas did he show particular interest in? I know he eventually ended up at Harding and so on, and Pricewaterhouse. But what was initially, when he was going to A-level, what was his interest?
When Botham went to St. Mary's, we spoke about civil engineering. I wanted him to be a civil engineer. So he went along with me. But as he went on, he started dropping the sciences. So he dropped biology first, and he was holding on to chemistry and physics. Then he dropped physics. I said, but if you have to be an engineer, you must have physics. And then we had a battle when he dropped chemistry. I said, at least hold on to chemistry. He said, Mommy, I cannot do it. So when he got to, I think it was the end of Form 3 into Form 4, he decided to change into accounting and business and economics. And I kept saying to him, don't follow me. Don't come into business, do business administration, do something that would make you self-sufficient and so on. But he excelled in accounting and business. He got several prizes at St. Mary's College when he graduated. He did extremely well at CXC, and he went to A-level and completed his studies there. So when he went to Harding, it was clear that he wanted to do accounting. While he was at Harding, he called and said that he got some advice, and he was told that he should also do a degree in management information systems. So he actually did a double degree. They didn't call it a double major, but he did a degree in accounting and a degree in management information systems. So while he was pursuing his studies at Harding, he got an internship with PwC in Dallas. So in 2015, he moved across to Dallas for a 6-week internship, but they kept him for 6 months. And right there, they offered him a job for the following year. So PwC allowed him to go back to complete his degree at Harding in 2016, the first semester of 2016, and immediately after that, he moved back to Dallas and started his job.
Amber Geiger was an off-duty police officer arriving home after a long day of work, sometime around 10 p.m. Her neighbor, 26-year-old Botham Jean, was in his apartment. Exactly what happened next is still a mystery, but what we know is Geiger went to Jean's apartment. She says she thought it was hers. When she saw him, she fatally shot him.
I'm an off-duty officer. I thought it was in my apartment, and I shot a guy thinking it was my apartment.
In the recording, Geiger can be heard growing increasingly distraught.
Oh my God, I'm done. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry.
There's quite a lot for you to process.
She took my life away, like my very own life.
While the community grapples with unanswered questions.
We're still dealing in America with black people being killed in some of the most arbitrary ways, driving while black, walking while black, and now we have to add living while black.
And especially in September, which this, like we were saying earlier, is such a roller coaster month for you. How do you, and yeah, I know you're in St. Lucia now as far away as possible, but this is your home, this is Botham's home as well. What are you engaging into? I know sometimes you can't escape it, it's there with you. What are you doing? Are you writing? Are you doing some more reading? Have you picked up some hobby or something that will take your mind off a little bit?
I haven't started writing, but I intend to. I'm at work full time, so I use work as a major distractor. But we also established the Botham Jean Foundation. And it was automatic to establish the foundation because I believe that Botham wants to complete the work that he started. So my daughter and I, we teamed up with a team of a board of directors, and the mission for the foundation is purely to continue what Botham started. So reaching out to the institutions that he used to visit, the Boys Training Center, Transit Home, and the others. But we've added certain elements knowing what Botham stood for. So we want to serve as advocates on gun control, on police brutality, and on racial unity. Despite Botham knew that there were issues with race, but he didn't dwell on it. He reached out. Most of Botham's friends are whites. He didn't have any problem with color. So we want to push that agenda on his behalf, and also to give assistance to the schools, the institutions that he went to. So the Carmen Rennie Memorial School, we've just reached out and assisted some students in getting books, uniform, and everything. In fact, sometime this week we will be going to pay their school fees and the school feeding program. We've also assisted some people in Grosley that he used to go to, Miss Hesse and Miss Lastic and these people. So my attention is, to distract me from the reality that I have to face it, is really to get active and get involved in a lot of these things.
The theme for the foundation is Make a Difference, promoting Christian intervention for social change.
That's right.
And I suppose that reflects to everything that Botham stood for.
Everything.
So the foundation is now up and running, and there's a big event that you have coming up
Yes.
in September. So talk to us about that gala.
Right. So we launched the foundation in St. Lucia because St. Lucia would be one of the major beneficiaries of the foundation. However, we have already registered that foundation in the United States. And the board of directors span from St. Lucia to the US. So we decided that on the 29th of September, which is Botham's 28th birthday, we would have a gala launch of the foundation. So we have a red tie event. Traditionally we have a black tie event, but Botham loved red so much And we could see it in his big, bold red tie, as well as his red carpet. And there were several other things inside his house that were red. So we're going to be having a red tie gala event on the 29th of September at the Renaissance Hotel in Dallas. Now, it so happened that we had planned that event long ago. We had already said that the first event would have been on the 6th of March, which would have been his the 6-month anniversary of his death. And the gala event would have been on the 29th of September. However, it so happened that the trial is happening in September as well. So, practicing what Botham did before, I said, let's look at the bright side of things. And persons who come for the trial would be able to attend the gala and vice versa. So, we will be going to Dallas very soon to participate in the trial, and we will be having the gala event. So there are a number of celebrities and guests that we hope to be attending the gala, but it's really a fundraising gala because the proceeds of that event will be used to start a fund that we can assist the other institutions, the various institutions. So out of all of the calamity, we still want to find time to celebrate him, to celebrate his birthday, because Botham was the kind of child who never dwelt on things. So I'm thinking back and I'm seeing he would have said, okay, September 6th, that's what you did me, okay. September 29th, I'll be celebrating my birthday in grand style.
So, and the foundation is welcoming sponsorship and donations, so persons who are viewing can make contributions as well.
That's correct. Yeah. We welcome donations, we welcome sponsorship. We would really love, because everything that we're doing, the foundation is what is called a 501c3 certified. So for persons who donate from the United States, they can use it as a tax write-off. And we have a treasurer, we have proper accounting systems in order that we can be accountable to the IRS and ensure that the money that we collect go to the various institutions. There's no reason for us to collect money and use it for ourselves. What we're doing, and even before we've collected any monies, we have already, through our personal finances, reached out to these institutions. Recently, we had a health fair. And we got assistance from medical practitioners in the US, as well as some in St. Lucia, and we reached out to the Comfort Bay and to the people, had a health fair at the Baywalk Mall in Rodney Bay. The assistance to the students, we're doing it, his dad and I are doing it from our own personal finances. So we just would like to have some more finances that we can assist. The Boys Training Center, the boys there need rehabilitation. We had a coaching clinic for them that was done by Botham's uncle, Earl Ballhog Jean, and we're hoping that we can do some more of these clinics as well.
The gala is being sponsored by PwC and Harding as well, so the two institutions that he devoted so much of his life to are getting involved as well.
Yes, PwC is the red tie title sponsor, so they have made a very good contribution, and Harding University has also assisted. We're still expecting some more sponsors and hope that they can materialize.
So that's happening on the 29th, towards the end of the month. I'm celebrating a celebration, but before that you have a roller coaster of emotions to go through, starting from this week. So just walk us through quickly the process. So there's going to be the first of all the selection of the jury and so on. That's right. There's a date for that as yet? The
jury selection is September 6th, which is Friday, and which is the anniversary of Botham's death. Botham was killed on September 6th.
Now, I know the system works by itself and so on, but the coincidence there of
I absolutely don't understand the coincidence. Some of these things I keep wondering whether Botham has a hand in it, you know, because to have jury selection on the anniversary of his death, and I understood from the Dallas officials that they did point it out to the judge that it would have been on the anniversary, but she kept the date. So jury selection starts on Friday and it goes on to next Friday, the 13th. Could you imagine Friday the 13th is the end of jury selection, and we know the myth behind Friday the 13th. So we're hoping that we could get a jury of 16. It's 12 plus 4.
What I want to happen is that they have the opportunity to pick a fair and impartial jury. So whatever it takes to do that, we all for it. And that's what we hope for, because we want this trial to remain here in Dallas County.
We've seen more people here than I've ever seen in the courtroom responding to jury duty. Someone actually in the media described this as similar to the last time the Cowboys went to the Super Bowl. So there's just a huge response. There were lines wrapped around the courtroom, and that is a promising sight for the family. They're encouraged to hear that so many people are willing to show up and do their civic duty.
My understanding is during the last pretrial hearing, the judge indicated that they would be drawing from a pool of 2,000 people. So out of 2,000, they're trying to get 16 people to serve on the jury. That period is very critical for me, Bernard, because first of all, we need to have a jury that could be fair. So it's not to say I'm seeking justice for my son, but not a fair hearing for his murderer. But we need to have persons who would not just come in with their minds made up. So that is a critical point. And we live in St. Lucia where racism is not an issue, but in the United States is a reality.
She said she accidentally entered his apartment thinking it was hers and thought he was an intruder. But there are some big old holes in this thing.
Yeah.
And then they tried to assassinate his character by saying, you know, they found marijuana in there.
Yeah.
So you telling me that somebody in their own house
Can't smoke a joint.
can't smoke a joint without fear
Of getting shot.
of smoking while black?
Yeah, I know.
Or
In
just
their
being
own
in
house.
your own apartment while black.
Well, so now you understand why people are taking a knee.
More than 100 people gathered to demand justice for Botham Jean. The 26-year-old was shot last week by off-duty police officer Amber Geiger.
Do you feel comfortable that they can select an impartial jury in Dallas County? I mean, you guys really didn't want to change a venue. You want it tried here.
Well, I really feel like this is, as Daryl has said, the most important part of the process. This trial is going to go on. The evidence will be presented. The evidence is what it is. The diversity and the ability of this jury to be fair and impartial is critical. We believe that Dallas County is the proper venue. It's where this crime took place. It impacts the citizens of Dallas, and we know that the judge is reserving her ruling concerning the change of venue until after they're able to select a jury.
And so we're hopeful that we can get a balanced jury. The other aspect too is the defense has put in a motion for a change of venue. Now that's crucial because Dallas is about an 80% black community. But a change of venue, especially to the 5 counties that they are suggesting, is purely white county. So that in itself is significant. And so we're hoping and I'm praying that we can get a jury selected next week so that the judge can overturn the motion for the change of venue. In addition to that, the jury selection also determines whether the case starts on the 23rd or not. Because if there isn't a jury found in Dallas on the up to the 13th, then it turns over a lot of things. So there's a lot of uncertainty looming in the month of September, but I am quite hopeful that everything will work out smoothly so that we can have a trial. Now, the trial is another thing that gives me all kinds of butterflies, because I know at that trial there will be some really difficult things coming up, photographs, the recording. Well, the 911 recording was already leaked, but you may never know what the defense will come up with. You don't know surprises that we may get. So it's a nervous and you know, there's anxiety looming over what is to come. But I hope and pray that we can get over with it. I really need to put closure to that chapter, because we've been through enough already from last year until now. So the trial for me is like a milestone. Whatever the outcome, I pray that God just gives me the courage to accept the outcome and we can move on with our lives.
St. Lucia, good evening. Put them up. Raise your hands up. Raise your hands up high. Tonight we send out the message that Black Lives Matter. That Botham Jean lives matter.
T.C. Brown did a song for Carnival, Calypso competition. And from what you were telling me, that song will be featured at the gala as well.
Oh, yes.
Talk to us about that and the role of entertainers, because I know Bo is also working on a song for you as well. And I'm sure there are other artists who I know who have written songs as well. And you said there may be celebrities at the event as well, so I'm sure a couple of them might be musicians and so on. But talk to us about the song and then what it means to you.
Oh yeah, I appreciated that song so much by T.C. Brown, Raise Both Arms.
My heart reaches out to Botham's family. Ya know that burden is so hard to carry. Raise both arms in praise as we learn the lessons from Botham's sojourn.
And his performance on the night, it's a pity I was not able to go to the show because of the rain. And that day I had just returned from Bermuda, where there was a tribute to Botham in Bermuda.
Okay.
So
what is the Bermuda connection?
Bermuda we have the annual Caribbean Lectureship of Churches of Christ.
Oh, okay.
And Botham was the song leader in all the different countries. So they had a singspiration in his honor. So that was the first time it was happening. So my family went. And that same day when we returned, that was the night of Calypso Finals. So I was a bit tired and so on. But when I watched his performance on television, I mean, it had Botham written all over it. So I'm very appreciative of it. And I met with TC and gave him my blessings of the song. So that song we're going to be using at the gala. Boo also composed the song, and he performed at the launch of the foundation in St. Lucia in March. So we're hoping that we would love to have him in Dallas, but if he cannot come, but we could get a recording of his performance, then we would use that. Cletus Springer also had a poem on Botham called Murder at 1478, and 1478 was Botham's apartment number. So he too, he wrote a poem that we would like to incorporate in some of the activities. So I welcome persons, and there were one or two other artists. We also had someone who did paintings of Botham. He's done 2 so far, and he will be at the gala, and he will be doing a painting while there, and then it will be on auction afterwards. He's also done a very good black and white piece of art on Botham. The first artwork that he did, we donated it to the St. Mary's College, so they will have it visibly placed in somewhere in the school. So a lot of persons have been impacted by Botham's death, people I don't even know. So there were some other songs that were made in Texas.
Yeah, a few songs around, yeah.
Yeah, there are a few songs around. I think somebody from Trinidad wrote a song. So all over persons, and they're welcome as long as it reflects him and what he stood for.
Let me ask a question. What sign did you ignore? Was it the red mat or the wrong number on the door? Please make us understand the impossibility of the door of the apartment slightly being ajar. Sad for you, there were witnesses who heard you screaming, let me in. Stop the lies, stop the excuses, please come clean. Amber Geiger, please come clean.
Botham Jean was killed in his own home. He should not be gone on, no. Tell me what the hell that cop was so wrong. She walked down the wrong floor. What the hell was she smoking?
Officer Geiger, you can lie to me, but you can't lie to the Most High. Hell no. I pray that he curse you in everything you do. Curse everyone who try to support you. You can't change fruit that a seed produce. Anyone like you gotta be the fruit of a seed that is void of truth. And when you look back at the roots, at those before you, even they were cruel. This behavior quite unusual. Seems to be the norm for your standards. How did he ignore your commandments? Breaking into his home. You the one in the wrong. Next thing you know it, your pistol blowing out smoke like it's on something and need rehab.
To lose someone like Botham, you think about the impact that he could have had on this world. But then after you process it a little bit, you realize that he had an impact.
Chuck Hicks felt that impact. A music professor, he leads the Good News Singers, which Botham Jean performed with.
Sing like never before. Oh, my soul, I'll worship your holy name.
But the key thing as we wrap up is the celebration. And I think I read somewhere, as long as poverty, injustice, and inequality persist, none of us can truly rest. So that means you're not going to get some rest anytime soon. We really appreciate you giving us the time to be here and to share your experience with us, and also the very best for the trial. But we certainly want to be celebrating Botham also at the end of the month, September, at the gala. And I guess this will just be a first of many galas, because you need to raise the funds, you need to keep the foundation going and all the causes and so on.
That's right. We're hoping that is the inaugural gala event, but we'll have it as an annual event. But in closing, let me thank St. Lucia. I have been overwhelmed by the support which I have received. My family has received after Botham's death. Everywhere I pass, even little children would point to me and say, that's Botham's mom. That day when we returned last year and the streets were lined and everything, this is unforgettable. And what I've noticed is not only did people come out on that day, but people continue to reach out. There are some people who are in the background, but people like Barbara Jacobs, I cannot forget her. She's reached out, she's been a very good support. We have people like Jackie Williams and Donovan, who lost their daughter to a road accident, but they reach out to Valerie, Santoma, and some others. So I really want to thank St. Lucians in whatever way that they've reached out, and I just call on you to just be vigilant, continue to seek justice. I am seeking justice for Botham, and anyone who wants to join me is welcome to do so. I think the way Botham died, he didn't deserve to. He was minding his own business in the sanctuary of his home, and that's where he was wickedly taken away. So we have to stand for him, And I really want to thank St. Lucian's for doing that and demonstrating that we would not just sit by and allow another life to go.
We appreciate it, the time that you've given us. We'd like to, wish you all the best. Our thoughts are with you, prayers as well, throughout the entire period. But I think most importantly is that you want St. Lucian's and people from across the globe to get involved and support the causes to help make life easier for those unfortunate people that's living the legacy of Botham Jean. So thanks so much and all the best.
Yes.
This is the reality show on Calabash TV. Thank you for being with us.
Praise you, Jesus, you are Lord. Raise up more that will call upon your name. Raise up those that love you and seek you and trust you. Raise them up, Lord. Raise them up. Lord, we need a generation of believers who are not ashamed of the gospel. We need an army of believers, Lord, that hate to be lukewarm and will stand on your word above all else. Raise them up, Lord. Raise them up. I pray for unity among those that love you. I pray that you open their eyes so that they can see your truth, Lord. I pray for your hand of protection and guidance. Raise up a generation, Lord, that will take light into this world, that will not compromise when under pressure, that will not cower, Lord, when others fall. Raise them up, Lord, that they will proclaim that there is salvation in the name of Jesus Christ. Raise up warriors, Lord, who will fight on their knees, who will worship you with their whole hearts, Lord. Lord, call us to battle that we may proclaim King of Kings and Lord of Lords. I pray these things with all my heart.
Missed it.
Raise them up, Lord.
I missed it.
Raise them up.
Hey. This is The Reality Show.